So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over some new things today. I'm still going to go over your budget variance report. I know we didn't get on a call the other day, so we're probably going to go over it for about maybe 15 minutes on the usage report and then move on to some new things.
Sure.
So let's go over your BVR for last week first for 2/8 through 2/14. Last week, we were pretty spot on for our sales. We were $249.42 under the predicted target at $15,512.58. Now your food cost, it does look super low right now. It says that you guys only used $1,000 worth of food for $14,000 worth of product. There's probably some negatives that we just need to fix, especially if you're getting substituted items, since Texas is not doing that well right now. Now, draft beer, bottled beer, as well as any beverage were over budget. Wine was under budget. Payroll was $270.88 under budget, and then total payroll was $300 under budget. Right now, we're only hitting a 31.98%. So there's definitely something going on with your food systems. Okay. Let's go ahead and dive into that real quick. All right, so this homestyle ranch, do you know how much you actually had? Because I assume you don't have 6 to 8 cases of it. Yeah, because it says maybe 2.7 gallons total.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Much better. So $800 now under budget. Now, how about this appetizer? Is it chicken?
Chicken jalapeno 3 cheese. That's I think that's our buckshots. We just got a bunch in because we're always out of them.
Oh, okay.
So
now, do I need to group that?
That's its own entity. It's called buckshots, but it does go into double doors.
Okay, double door freezer, awesome. That was easy. Let's do a few more, then we'll move on. Filter shortening saver. You guys purchased 40 pounds that ended with 0. I've never seen that on there. I think it needs to be added to inventory. Where would that live?
That would probably be spice rack.
All right. Now, potato. I believe we went over this a couple weeks ago, but we started with 0. We purchased 2 cases that ended with 0.
I think that's the crinkle fries, isn't it? It should be in the double doors if it's not in there.
And then you'll just count it by the bag.
Yes.
Now, how about this russet? I think this one just needs to be grouped to this russet, right?
Yeah, that's just a regular potato. That could be grouped with the potatoes.
Now, as of right now, with those changes, it's a lot closer. You're at a 51.28% prime cost. All right, so Mark, I'm going to bring up this sheet with you, and this is your PMix report. I've highlighted the items that I'm trying to get recipes in your system for. Do me a favor. I'm going to ask you some simple questions. I just need them answered.
Yeah, sure.
Avocado, for adding, is it just half of an avocado?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Bacon, how much bacon is it? 2 slices or?
We don't do it by slice. We chop it. So an add bacon, 2 ounces.
Awesome. Now, bacon super smash burger. I believe that's a patty, right?
Yeah, but to add bacon to that, again, it's 2 ounces.
Oh, okay. 2 ounces bacon, and then that's your burger patty that you guys make yourself, right? You purchase it. Okay.
That's a ghost kitchen.
Now, add basil. How much basil is it?
That's for the recipes. I have no idea because I've never had basil.
Yeah, I can see you've never sold it. How about barbecue sauce? Is it a 4-ounce portion, 2 ounces, or?
2 ounces. It's always 2 ounces. Pretty much everything.
Okay. All right, that will be easy on my end. That way you can get started on that again. Okay. Now, I'm going to go and move on. Any other questions, Mark?
No, Brittany, it's good.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to import your invoices using the Smart Connect app. First, you're going to sign into the Smart Connect app. And then from there, you're going to click on Invoice Upload. Now, from the Invoice Upload screen, up on the very top, you're going to see your search features to look at past dates. So you can change the date range, you can look for the invoice number, but to add a new invoice, you're going to click on the plus sign on the bottom right-hand corner. From there, if you have a vendor that you have not already added into the system, you can leave it as vendor not chosen. If not, you're going to click on that drop-down box and select the vendor. From here, where it says date invoice, you're always going to leave the date of the invoice as is. Even though this invoice may be from 2 weeks ago, we don't want to ever change that date. And then for the invoice number, we're going to click on that text box and enter our invoice number. From there, we're going to go ahead and upload a photo of our invoice. Now, I'm using a demo, so I'm just going to use this book to show you guys. But you're going to click on that icon in the very middle of your screen, that's a plus sign, and you're going to select Upload from Device or Take a Photo. I'm going to click on Take a Photo. There I am. Hello. Now, from here, you want to go ahead and take your photo, and I want to make sure it's legible. Now, as soon as I click on the middle icon, it says Add Image Success. You can take as many images as you need to. Again, this is an example. Once you're done taking the image photos, you're going to hit on the done icon, and then from there, you can view the photo that you just uploaded or photos by clicking on it. And if we can't read it, if you can't read it, that means we can't read it. Now from there, I'm going to hit upload, and you're going to do this every single time you receive a delivery for each vendor. Give it a second to load, and then it says upload photo success. Now we're good to go. Go back into Restaurant Systems Pro. After I've uploaded an image, you can actually see it in the system. If I go to daily paperwork, I can go to invoice upload, and then from there, all the invoices in your system that have not been processed yet, but you have imported them, would generate under that not processed window. Anything that we did enter in your system as an invoice or as an order would be under the process section. So it automatically generates the current month that you're on. And if I go back, for example, your specific restaurant doesn't have any that we did not process. But if I go into a demo system, for example, and I go to the not processed section, you can see today's 2/19 and an invoice from 2/8 is not in the system. So if I expand it, and I can go ahead and expand the vendor, you're going to be able to see under the note column if our team put any notes for you that we weren't able to enter it into the system and why.
Okay.
So typically because it's blurry. All right, any questions?
No. It's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if you ever want to figure out, like, why is that invoice not in the system yet, but we've already imported the photo of it, just go under the not processed section, and then you'll see notes if you expand the vendor as to why we didn't import it. Now, let's go ahead and go over checklists. Now, Mark, have you started anything with a checklist yet?
Like a month or two I was going to, and then I looked at it, but no, I have to. I mean, I love this. No. I looked it over, it would work perfect, but I have not implemented like I should.
Yep, no problem. So let's go ahead and go over that today, and then from there we can go ahead and get everyone started on the checklist. Now, are you going to have one tablet for your employees, or are you going to have multiple tablets to let them use their phone?
Let them use their phone, because they all have the apps. Yeah.
Awesome. So as long as they have the app, we can go ahead and start assigning this to the employees now that you have the schedules in our system. So under daily paperwork, I'm going to go to checklist dashboard. Now, I'm just going to do an overview of this as if you've never seen this before, Mark. Okay. So just a heads up. Up on the very top, it automatically generates the current date range that you're on. So if you ever want to see past checklists that have been answered, you can clear the date range completely just like that. Now, where it says checklist type, where it says all, you can select reoccurring or one time, and this is basically a filter icon for all of these. For template name, you can search for the template from there. You can look at inactive and activated checklists. And then for whatever reason on this page, there's two of the same things on the bottom grid, basically. For whatever reason, as long as you click on one of them, then you're good to go. Now, to add a new template or checklist, you're going to click on the add icon. You can edit the template, or you can go ahead and clone it. You can also make it inactive, copy on the very bottom or top. We're going to go ahead and start assigning some existing checklists that you already have, Mark. So we're going to start with a serving checklist. I'm going to double click on it, and we need to do about 4 different things to this checklist so we can get started on it. Now, the first thing is going to be up on the very top where it says, do you want this checklist to repeat? We definitely want it to repeat. From there, I'm going to click yes, and then I'm going to click on edit reoccurrence. So we basically need to put a reoccurring time. Is this a checklist that's going to generate every single day, Mark?
Yes.
Okay. So where it says repetition type, you can select days of the week or days of the month. For this one, I'm going to select days of the week, and then we're going to select all. Now, what time do you want this checklist to start every single day?
It's 10 a.m.
All right. So I'm going to change this time to be 10, and then what is the deadline for it? They can go ahead and answer it still, but they need to go ahead. It basically notifies you that's late. If you want to be notified every single time this checklist is answered, it would automatically notify you if you selected your name. So who would be the person to be notified?
Jay.
Okay. Now, you can go ahead and notify them when the time is expired, as well as if an employee created a new template. Now, I'm going to scroll down, and you can see list item questions on template. here are the current questions that you have. You can go ahead and drag and drop them to a different area. You can double click on them and revise the questions that you've already entered, or you can click on the plus sign on the bottom grid to add a new question.
Yeah, because I started it, like you see it now.
Yeah. Now, from there, after that, the last thing to do is assign it. Now, this is an opening server checklist, right? So what we're going to do is we have two different options. Share to employee is sharing to a specific employee. So if I always want Jay to receive this every single day, even if he's not scheduled or working that day, we can go ahead and click on the plus sign right here and then select a specific person. Now, most of the time checklists are based off of their schedule. So what I would do is under the sign to, I would click on this drop-down box. And then from there, we want to select a position. I'm going to select the scheduled date as starting today. And then we have the option to select the position of server. Now from there, is this only AM or is it both AM and PM for the service?
As far as what?
For this opening checklist?
That's just for the openers. That's for AM. I'll have to come up with one for closers.
If I go ahead and go back into this checklist, I'm actually going to change it now to meal periods, to stations, and then select this one. Let me refresh my screen. The stations instead, front of the house, server position, and then now I'll select AM since this is the opening server checklist. When I load it, those two employees now generate under it.
Now, can you do me a favor?
Then when
Didn't you send me, I know you sent me the Smart Shift paper I had to send them.
Oh, yeah.
Did you send me a paper for the other app too? Or no?
Yes, I did, but I'll go ahead and write that down.
Yeah, if you
and I'll send it to you separately.
You're awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's perfect.
Perfect. And then from there, let's see. So we're all good on this specific checklist. All right. Now let's go ahead and go over one more thing. I need to make sure that you are doing reverse labor though. Are you getting this done?
Yeah, it's done.
Okay. Perfect.
And I know
right now,
I know I got to do my projection by tomorrow.
Okay.
Sales projection. So
what we'll do then is let's go over one more thing today, and that's going to be dollars per labor hour. Now, I believe we have gone over this one time in the past a while back, but we're going to go ahead and go over it again. Now, just know, Mark, that basically your reverse labor, that's the only area it's going to feed into is going to be your dollars per labor hour. Under dollars per labor hour, I'm going to go ahead and basically what we're doing is we're looking at our labor efficiency levels. Although you do run a great tight schedule, we may want to adjust some more things just based off of our sales and what we're seeing in the system and how you're scheduling efficiently. Now, under dollars per labor hour, there's two different ways to go about this. Looking at the current week that you're on, or you can look at a past week. It does not matter. I've had people look at this every day. And this is something that Jay should probably learn as well. But basically what we're going to do is under dollars per labor hour, we're going to select the start date. I'm going to select last week for today's example. From there, we're going to select a position. So let's just see on your schedule, you can see the servers were over budget, but the back of the house was under budget. Let's go ahead and take a look at your servers. So under position, I'm going to select servers. Under category, so servers are going to be dealing with all of the
Yeah, servers is food and drinks.
And then from there, I'm going to hit report. And this will make a lot more sense, Mark, once I start explaining to you all these columns.
Okay.
So the first thing is going to be forecast. Now, like I said, you guys can look at this two different ways. A previous week that just ended or the current week that you're on. Now, if you're going to look at the current week, you're going to toggle through actual versus forecast after you've entered the reverse labor in for that particular day. So like yesterday, for example. For this example, I'm just going to show you the differences. Under forecast, you can see first we have our sales. This is going to be our predicted sales. And if I selected all of these categories, it's the separation between all of them. Now, if I go to actual, this is your actual gross sales. Below that, what you're going to see is a total amount of predicted sales for the day, and you can make that comparison. So for example, last week we predicted to do $15,772, and we actually did $15,512, so not that far off. And that's great for you because you can base a lot of your schedules off of this labor efficiency. Now from there, based off of the position that we selected, you'll see total servers on the very bottom, and it gives you some breakdown. Here it gives you your scheduled hours since we're under forecast. If I go to actual, it will tell you what you actually worked. So if you look at the total, we originally scheduled 168.03 hours, but they actually worked 155.49. So great.
Yeah.
Under dollars per labor hour. Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
Well, I have a couple questions because I have Karen working. Karen, I don't schedule, so it's always a little tricky for me because that's my wife.
Okay.
So I have her fill in.
Okay.
So she'll show up. She doesn't show up on my beginning of the week, but she'll fill in.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll throw my numbers off a little bit.
No problem. Yeah, that's totally understandable. And it looks like you guys are doing a great job anyways with labor, but at least we can schedule. Is she going to be hourly or salaried?
Well, she's hourly.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, so we may have some variances if you don't start scheduling her in the system, but when we look at her under the reverse labor systems and she's pulling in there, it'll show under the actuals.
And also with Danny gone, how does that work as far as, because he's based in that the percent for the salary, but he's gone.
Are you still paying him?
No, heck no.
No. All right. So what we'll need to do is we need to go under labor systems, and dollars per labor hour is just going to be your variable labor. So Danny's not actually in there. Yeah. But what I'll do for you, Mark, is let me take him out of the system with his salaried. I'll delete this part so they don't see it. But from there, I will send you a new labor cost percentage in your budget.
Okay, that's what I was wondering about. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah,
that makes a huge difference. I didn't mean to sidetrack you about that, but I wanted to ask you about that. I was curious.
No, you're fine. I'm glad you reminded me so we can make that change, especially since you have a new sales forecast in.
Yeah, okay.
Now, under dollars per labor hour, you see this number that I'm highlighting right over here?
Yeah.
Basically, this is the number that you need to produce for every single server for each hour of the day. So if you have 5 servers, for each one of them, in every hour that you're open, you need to produce at least $62.74 for each of them in order to be efficient, basically. So what that's telling me is, you see how this number versus this number under dollars per labor hour, you see how all the numbers are a lot higher than the $62.74? That means you actually are scheduling very efficiently.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so if I were to see that number, let's say $50, for example, under this dollars per labor hour under each day, that means that I'm not scheduling as efficiently as I can.
Okay.
All right. Does that make sense, Mark?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You scared me when I saw that thing. I don't think these people don't earn that much an hour, but cool. It's good to know.
Yeah. Now, for the ideal hours, this is where you're going to be able to see, and this is the only area that the system tells you based off of your predicted sales, how many hours you should actually be scheduling. So the great thing is, like I said, you schedule very efficiently. You can see that on Saturday, you guys have almost $3,000 in sales. Your hours that you scheduled were 24.17, and the system's giving you 45 hours for that amount of sales.
Believe me, we feel it.
Just an example.
I don't know if it's so much I schedule that good or nobody wants to work.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be honest with you.
Unfortunately, with the times right now,
yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. So
now
I feel it when I see those numbers. I know exactly what the system's telling me, so I know.
Yeah. And then the difference is on the very bottom, the variance. That's going to be the difference between your hours scheduled versus the ideal hours. You can see none of them are negative, which is awesome. Again, even though unfortunately right now you guys are short-staffed.
Yes.
Now, a couple other things. The way that I like looking at this is, and sometimes people have specific reasons for this. So you see, for example, if I'm looking at Friday and Saturday, you see how the sales are pretty much the exact same?
Yeah.
Yet the hours scheduled, there is a variance between them. So for this example, I would start questioning, why am I scheduling, let's say, an extra 5 hours on a Friday? Maybe if I have a brunch opening earlier that day, maybe we have trivia night, whatever it may be. But those are the things that you want to start looking at when you're looking at this report. Even if you are running efficiently, you just want to question yourself sometimes. Like, why am I scheduling the 5-hour difference between only $200 more in sales on Friday? Or if I look at my Sunday and my Thursday, you see how they have pretty much the exact same hours?
Yeah.
Yep. Now, does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm just trying to think in my head why it's like that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So those are little things that you'll start looking at and paying attention to. I'm going to switch this to the kitchen position, and we can do the same exact thing. So you see on your Thursday how there's a negative on the variance part?
Yeah.
So we automatically know that this one is scheduled over, and again, you may have a specific reason for that. From there, I start looking at the sales and comparing the hours scheduled. So on Thursday, I have 2,200 for my forecasted sales. And then on Saturday, I have 2,800. Why am I scheduling for a day that has more sales, 10 hours less than Thursday?
Well, there's your difference between your salary working and your, like on Thursday, I got all my hourly working. Saturday, it's more, you know, it was me and my other son who's salary and Jay. Mm-hmm. So that's the difference. And yeah, you see on Sunday, it's even less. You know what I mean? It's just us working the salary.
Yeah, there's none. Yeah. That makes sense then. Yeah, like I said, there's maybe reasons. A lot of people had trivia night pre-COVID, and what would happen is they would not turn a lot of tables, but they would have more people working that day, for example.
Yeah.
Or brunch. I have a restaurant right now that was doing brunch, and they have a lot more employees setting up in the mornings versus on a normal day.
Right.
Now, how about Thursday? Do you guys really only schedule 6 hours on Thursday?
Tuesday?
Oh, sorry, Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah, because that's just me, Jay, working, and we usually have someone else come in, an hourly person.
Okay. No problem. And then once you guys start looking at this, what you can do is move it to the actual. So we can see that we originally scheduled 114. And then if I go to the actual, we only had 107.91 hours worked, which is awesome. And again, you can see the days that you are running inefficient, not as efficient as you should be. Because the kitchen, you guys can see it compared to your actual numbers, our dollar per labor hour is a little bit higher. It's 132.46. So that's the amount of dollars that we need to produce for each kitchen employee for each hour of the day. And you can see a lot of these are going to be under that amount.
Yeah.
So we aren't running as efficiently.
And I see most of them are.
Yeah, but here's what's happening. Things are weighing each other out. And like I've always said, as long as your total at the end of the week, which you're actually 9 hours under budget, even though your Sunday, your Thursday, Wednesday, and your Monday say they're inefficient, at the end of the week, we are running great because you guys are salaried and you are making sure that you're working on the days that you can't schedule an hourly employee.
Right. Okay, cool.
All right. Any other questions, Mark?
No. That's kind of cool.
Okay.
I never saw it before.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll continue looking at this report on a weekly basis. I know when you first look at it, a lot of people have a hard time understanding it fully. So we'll continue to work on this in the checklist. I'll send you an email with a Smart Connect. You're going to go ahead and start creating your checklist, like compiling that list. Look on Google if you need to, and send that over to me, and I will send you a new labor cost percentage, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Be safe. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Brittany. Nice seeing you. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye.